Okay, little 3/4 horse Bluffton update. I'm still sick as can be. Don't have my voice back yet, but I started painting, mocking up some of the parts. Came out pretty good. The paint I use, I really like it, but like I mentioned in the other videos, I've been draw filing. The two casting halves here were way off, but it came out pretty darn good, and the head centers up nice on there. There's a little issue, kind of strange. The timing gear, if you can see there or not, it doesn't really hop, but it wobbles back and forth, back and forth. I might ream that out and make a new shaft, which is a real simple thing. It just bottoms out against the housing here and has a nut. Lighting's horrible in here. It has a nut that holds it in, and I could even make it eccentric so I could move it around to get a perfect gear mesh and then tighten it down. But it's kind of neat that it was spinning. It doesn't even look like it's moving when it's running, but I don't know if I'm going to get that picky. But it came out pretty good. I don't know, there must have been dust in the air. Got little bumps on this guy, but it is hand brushed. I prefer it. It just has a look. Get it out in the sunshine, and it's so opaque. It's this Machine Implement Exo Rust paint I use. I got the valve cover to line up, and it seals pretty good. I had issues with wide open areas where oil would just splash, where it was touching up here and down there, and great big gaps. The head came out pretty good. I'm leaving the bright areas. I still have to give it another coat of paint. A friend of mine told me about some kind of header paint that's clear I could put on the metal. I don't know. I might try it on a test thing. A little latch out guy. Anybody has one of these they want to sell? There's a repair there, which I'm cool with, but there's a huge stress crack there. This thing has just seen better days. This is bent really bad, but I don't know. I'm nervous running it with that crack. I gotta have it soldered up. It's a bronze piece. I don't know if that was even original. This picnic table bolt. That has to go. But someone put in there. Yeah, these plugs cleaned up really nicely. That's what we were doing in the other video, and that's how they came out. Okay, I held off on painting these, the bearing caps. I think somebody ordered new Babbitt bearings, and yes, I label everything in case there is any kind of orientation, bottom A or whatever. It's a good idea to put them back exactly how they came out. But if you look, when they poured the original Babbitt, that's what this is here. And that keeps them from grabbing the crank and spinning in there, which would burn them right out. Well, these aren't. These are just placed in, and what somebody had done on just the bottom ones alone, had drilled these holes and got it wrong, and they were ovaled out, and they put a little brass pin down in there. Keep it from spinning. I'm not sure what to do about that. I was really excited to see how good the Babbitt was, but I don't know if I like that. Oh, the baby's awake. Boy, he's going to be surprised when he sees what we did with the cart. Ha ha ha. I set up a little race course for him. Kind of funny. That's temporary. Anyways. So that's the deal with the Babbitt. This guy here I didn't paint. I'll probably just brighten that up a little bit. This is the governor, equivalent to the fly ball. This goes on the inside of the flywheel, and inertia flings it out and hits that, what I call the picnic table bolt, and activates the latch out. That's what helps make it a hit and miss engine. That's where the spring attaches. It's just the bare metal. There's the mixer. And this paint does really good around gas. I put a pencil in there so it can dry without any edges touching. This is the spindle for the fan blade. That came out pretty good. Man, that thing had some hammer marks. I actually ground the pins off the fan. And I'll have to repin it because this thing was just such a mess. Some of these flanges were smashed in. There's hammer marks and dents on it. It's cast, believe it or not. Cast or drop forged, but it came out pretty good. Needle valve. I might make a new one. I don't know if you can pick that up or not, but that thing is rusted and chewed. If I do, I'll make one out of brass. And I'll make a steel dummy one, identical to the brass one, minus the threads, so I could kind of lap in the seat inside the mixer. I might be able to pry that off and pop it on a new one, but other than that, I'll probably just make a new one. The valves, this one you can see really good. That's the intake. They lapped in really nice, but there's a lot of wear here. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not either. I looked into valves for these things. $60 and $80 for a valve. I thought that was kind of ridiculous. Also, I don't know if you have to like work them and then harden them afterwards. Anybody know anything about that? Let me know. Or if you have any valves. But these are really worn in. There's quite a bit worn off there. And the fan I haven't painted yet. I thought it'd look kind of cheesy if I painted it red or green to match the flywheels or the engine. So I think I'm just going to do it black. But man, that thing was a mess. I got that pretty straightened out. This little fella here. This is the pin that holds in latch out mechanism. Rocker arm, whatever you want to call it. Just cleaned up the edges. I didn't take anything off. Steel wooled it with some oil. But when it slides in, it just looks kind of nice with a nice clean edge. This guy got painted. I'll probably just brighten that up. And it goes on the end. That's your latch out. That's what engages it. I'll get that paint off there and we'll clean that up. Make that nice. Brighten this up. It looks a lot better. I didn't take anything off. I just did it by hand. Brightened it up. This flywheel looked ugly as hell on there. It's an International Harvester. That someone actually machined the flywheel and the hub for this to lock in.